Today, we are going to be talking about how to list 3 out of 4 listing appointments with our coach, Darryl Davis, drumroll please, to get the most from our webinar today. Use this Q&A panel here to ask us any questions, take some good notes. There's a handout there you can print. To reach us at any time after today's webinar, you can get us on all social media channels at Darryl Speaks. Darryl is the author of 3 books, all published by McGraw-Hill Publishers. That first one you see there, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, is actually the #1 selling book to real estate agents on Amazon. Darryl was named one of the top 2020 influencers and thought leaders by Risk Media Magazine. And is the recipient of the coveted CSP designation by the National Speakers Association. It's only given to less than 2% of speakers worldwide. On that note, Darryl, take it away and teach us how to get 3 out of 4 listings.
All right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We want to welcome everybody. I have a couple of things to do before we get into the actual topic content. One is I want to address the question I always do, because for new people, and that is this a webinar sales pitch? To those of you that have been with me before, you know the answer to that already, which is not. It's not a sales pitch. But to be totally transparent so everybody understands this is a series that we do every Wednesday. It's for our power agents. So some of you on this call are power agents. Some of you are guests. And so I just want to distinguish that. You know, guests from time to time, just for the point of transparency, I'm going to be talking directly to our students, our power agents. So that way, I just want you to be aware of that. But everybody's going to get value. It doesn't matter. If you're not a power agent, there's a website. We'll talk about it more at the end. But that's the website. We're doing something special for the guests today. Just to give you a broad stroke, guess what the program is. This one slide real quick. It's a membership training coaching program that we're locking in. People are locking in this low price of $47 because of the pandemic. So we don't know how long it's going to stay at this, but for anybody that gets in, they're grandfathered. But today you actually have an opportunity where you can kick the tires for 30 days for only $5. So that's pretty awesome. And you'll have complete access to the website. There won't be any restrictions. You won't have a different type membership. Plus you get bonuses. Huge amount of bonuses that you get to keep. It's worth thousands actually. And you can cancel anytime, but we'll talk more about that at the end. So how to list 3 out of 4. There's going to be 2 main sections that we're going to cover in this training. The first section is going to be the technology you need. Now, some of you already should be tech savvy enough. It's because of this coronavirus. This is nothing new. It's been around now since March, but just in case, there might be some people still in that learning curve. I'm going to make it really simple. I'm not teaching tech. I'm just going to tell you what tech you do need. And then the majority of this webinar is going to be going over the actual listing appointment, things to say, and how to put together the whole conversation. And by the way, when I teach this listing part, this will apply even for face-to-face. So it's not just virtual. So if you're in virtual, there's the first section I'm going to cover, but the second section applies across the board. When it comes to technology, here's a couple of things. First of all, what you need for that is you're going to need some kind of software to present your visuals, right? And we'll talk about some choices on how to put together a visual digital listing conversation. The second is a meeting platform. When you meet with the seller, how are you going to deliver that conversation? And then the third is the hardware, lights, and cameras. So let me give you some suggestions on this. The software. Now, the most common popular software, if you are a Windows user, is PowerPoint. And that's the one that I use. Like what you're seeing on the screen right now is me using PowerPoint. And for those of you that are Mac folks, there's Keynote. So depending on what platform, it's going to be one or the other. There is a third option, which is more universal, regardless of the platform that you're in, and that is Google Slides. Google Slides is free, and that's another really cool thing about Google Slides. It's a little, doesn't have as many great bells and whistles as PowerPoint or Keynote, but it does the job totally. And the other cool thing about Google Slides is that if you do have, let's say, a file that is a PowerPoint or a Keynote, it'll convert it for you, so you'll be able to still use it in that. Another piece of software that I just keep getting blown away by it, and I'm so passionate about it, and I keep learning more stuff about it. I was just logging into it this morning. Hang on one second. I just have a technical thing to deal with, gang. Sorry, I'm back. Anyway, so is this Realtors Property Resource, RPR. And if you're a realtor, this is free to you. And it's just, I'm blown away by it because they should charge for it. It is, to me, this is worth your whole being a realtor because it has so much great features to it. And I keep learning. Like, for example, we were talking this Monday on our weekly guests. Every Monday, I have a weekly coaching call with the power agents where they ask me questions and I coach them on, dialogue or a challenge or putting a deal together, or they're depressed, whatever it might be, right? And one of the power agents asked a question, what's a good place to find land? And so I said, well, here's a bunch of ideas. And then one of the power agents says, RPR has a function in there where you can, go to a county and say, show me all the pieces that are just land. It gives you all the contact information. It's pretty incredible. So I highly encourage you to look at it. When it comes to a listing appointment, how RPR will help you is doing some really basic CMAs or awesome detailed CMAs. Again, it's free. In our business, there's other companies that have software for doing CMAs. And of course, you buy those or pay monthly. This is part of what it's free. So anyway, I encourage you to love them. Another one, most of us should know this, Docusign. You need some digital platform to have a homeowner to sign a listing agreement if you're doing completely digital appointment. This one over here, probably don't need it as much depending on your market or where you are. But if you need to have something notarized, I am a total fan of this platform called Notarize.com. That's the website. I've used this personally several times, and it is incredible. It is fun. It's easy. It's effective. You can have something digitally notarized as long as you have your webcam and you have the document digital or scan the document, bada bing, you're good to go. It's not cheap though. It's like $25 to have something notarized for the one thing, but it's really super friendly. Okay, how are we doing, Jules?
We're doing awesome.
Okay, great. Sound is good, lights good, everything's good.
All as well.
All right, thank you very much. Video platform, the conference. So as far as you communicating and doing your listing appointment, what platform you're going to use, the two most popular is GoToMeeting. And the second one is Zoom. Most of us are using Zoom. And I suggest you use Zoom. Plus, I own their stock. And so if you look at Zoom, they have like that pro thing there. It's $15 a month. There is a free platform. I don't recommend the free platform for the simple reason, if you're looking at your screen, everything's great about the free platform, except for there's a 40-minute limit. So unless you can guarantee of having a listing conversation in 40 minutes, I would not use the platform and when you're ready to have them sign the listing and it's 39 and a half minutes, that would really stink if the signal just dropped because you hit the 40 minutes. Now, GoToMeeting, you'll notice, they're pretty much the same when it comes to price. So they're competitive price-wise. I'm not going to get into teaching tech on how to use it, but I do want to just point out a couple of things to relieve people that are still worried and scared of using video platforms. It's very simple. I encourage you to get used to it. Play with it. For those of you who are not familiar with it, ask your friends or family to jump on a Zoom call with you so you can get comfortable with it. There's just 4 buttons that you need to really care about. The one button is the mute button. If you ever see it crossed out like you do with that video there, that means you're muted. They can't hear you. And you'll see it says the video is off, right? All you have to do is click on the button. It turns the video on and it turns the audio on. The other thing is managing the participant. You'll see there's only one person there. If you were on an appointment, that's me. If I was on with a FSBO, then I would see 2 people there, right? It would be me and the homeowner, and then start sharing the screen so you can do your listing appointment. So those are the 4 buttons that you really need to know and learn about, okay? It's not that hard. As far as hardware is concerned, You need to have a mic. There's different types of mics. I don't know where the world is with technology right now, hardware. When we first had the pandemic, everybody was ordering microphones and cameras, and they were sold out. It was really hard to find them. So that fluctuates from time to time. Plus the trade war with China, things you couldn't get out of China. So it was a little bit of a mess. But the one that I recommend is the blue microphone, and you'll see the price here is $129. So, it sits right in front of me. I'm not using that. I'm using a lavalier. I'll explain that one in a second. Then there's the camera. You really don't need the Brio. The Brio is the most expensive of the cameras, but I'm a real fan of Logitech. It seems like they've mastered cameras and digital cameras. So there's the less expensive ones. You can take a look at them. You'll see it was currently unavailable at the time that I searched it. Another thing to consider, I just really like, is $25. If, let's say, you were going to use your smartphone as your camera, or you wanted to do a live thing, or you're at an open house and you want to stabilize it and use that, this is a great stick, called the selfie stick by Fujitech. And because you can control your phone with it, it's stable. It's actually a selfie stick too. You'll notice that you can extend it, so hold it out if you want it. So there's so much for $25. There's so many great things that you can use with this. Here's the microphone that I'm not using this one for a different reason, but this, when it comes to your purpose, I've actually tested every lavalier microphone on Zoom. The Shure MVL is absolutely the best microphone, gives you the best quality. You plug it right into the audio jack in your computer, on your laptop, and you're good to go. So that's that one. Okay, let's talk about virtual tours. Again, I'm not teaching. I'm just giving you ideas of the things that you need. I'm not a tech guy, by the way. For those of you that are new, that have never seen me before, I am the listing and selling guy, what to say, when to say, and how to say it when you're talking to a buyer or seller. I'm not a tech trainer, but I do have some knowledge about technology, so that's why I'm giving it to you right now. The virtual tours, you need to really be good with the virtual tours. I'm going to tell you why. Everybody pay attention to this. If you're talking to a for sale by owner, one of the best ways to convince a FSBO to list with you is to show them the things that you do that they can't. And that thing that you can do is maybe going to be the difference of them selling for top dollar. So part of what you do on a listing appointment is to distinguish. See, watch this. A lot of us, we think when we go on a listing appointment, which, by the way, again, for guests, you don't know me, my specialty is listing FSBOs and expireds, because that's how I built my business. Calling for sale by owners, doing FSBO appointments. And here's something I want you all to really listen to me right now. So this is a great teaching moment. We think part of what we do on a listing appointment, especially with a FSBO, is to tell them why we or our company is better than somebody else. When you're talking to a FSBO, what you have to get them to see, what your focus has to be, is why is Realtor better than FSBO? What does Realtors have that the FSBO doesn't have? And each one of those things that they don't have that you have is the very thing that could be the difference between selling for top dollar and not. One of those things is virtual tours. Homeowners don't understand virtual tours. They don't know how to do virtual tours. We've been doing virtual tours before the pandemic. Hell, we wrote the book on how to sell a house virtually because we were prepared for this as an industry before this pandemic even happened. So for those agents that are not tech savvy with virtual tours, I'm going to encourage you to do it because it's going to help you get more listings. One of the companies, Matterport, great company. Some people would say they were the first when it came to virtual tours in our industry. They were used to be really super expensive because you would have to buy their camera. You'll see it on the screen. You buy the camera for $3,000. But they have now switched their business model where you can use a regular camera and use their software in their platform. So you don't have to buy that special camera. Another less expensive option is open frame. I checked it out. It's very easy to use, very inexpensive. So check out Open Frame as a competitor to Matterport. Another thing I want you to pay attention to when it comes to technology and doing a listing appointment is explaining this concept about digital enhancement of photos. We have a relationship with Box Brownie Power Agents. You guys get a coupon, and you get like 4 free photos. Like we have a training that we did with Box Brownie. So Power Agents, there's a lot of support when it comes to Box Brownie. And just to go back to that for a second, you'll see what it does is it can make a vacant room and put virtual furniture in. It can get rid of some of the blemishes, you see. Anyway, we'll talk more about that when I demonstrate the listing appointment. Google does have free virtual tour. But again, when it's free, it's not the best when you throw a few dollars at a company. But anyway, Google, what you can do is actually upload still photos, and Google can take those still photos and create a virtual tour. So just check that out. I don't know how good it is, but I know they have that. Realtor.com, there's a website there. Realtor.com has a how-to on how to add virtual tours and stuff to your listing on Realtor.com. So make sure you check out that too, so that way you know how to get that up online. And so now let's go to the listing appointment. I'm going to go through the listing appointment. And okay, so I have to change screens. So that's that software. And let me go to this one. So what I'm going to do now is go through the actual listing appointment with the homeowner, point out some things, give you some teaching on this. Now, Power Agents, let me talk to you for a second. When you go to the classroom of the Power Program website, okay, and you click on Classroom, you're going to see there's a wait. Is that right? Sorry. When you go to Classroom, you're going to see Webinars on Demand, and the Classroom is alphabetical, gang. So it starts all the way it's the W. Webinars on Demand. When you click on that, you're going to see all of these trainings of all the weeks that we've been doing since the beginning of time. And there's one on the virtual listing conversation with the in-person field, the virtual listing conversation with the person field. Okay, so when you click on that, here's what you're going to get. There's 2 things. You're going to get a sample of today's webinar. So today's live, and you'll get that. Plus, there's the slides today that I'm using. In addition to that, you're going to get a set of slides to do on a listing appointment, which I'm about to go through now. And you're getting PowerPoint, so you can edit those. I'll show you in a second. And you're going to get a tutorial. The tutorial video will go through. Let me just explain, because I don't want people to get confused. All right. So everybody, just look at this. This over here, the beginning slides I'm doing now, I'm just giving you some tips. But here, where you see that, where it says your listing conversation, this is the actual PowerPoint that you can use and customize. You drop in your photo, you drop in this information, you name of your broker, your leadership team. So Power Agents, you're getting this complete PowerPoint slide deck where you start to customize it, right? And I'm going to go through some of these analogies on what to say when you're talking to a homeowner. Okay. So what I'm going to teach you is not just for virtual. You can do it in person. You can customize, delete, add slides. Power Agents, you're going to get all that. The more you do this, the more comfortable you're going to become. And by the way, if you're not a Power Agent, you may want to become Power Agent to get the slides. You don't have to. You can create your own. So just stick with me on this. When you're doing the listing appointment, gang, you should start off the presentation with asking about them. And I'm not going to do that right now. You know, so it's very basic. If I'm talking to a seller, I say, so how are you guys doing? How are things? Okay, great. And you'll ask questions and get engaged with them. You may want to break the ice before you do anything. So let me give you some suggestions on how to break the ice. Power Agents, you're going to find all this in the listing presentation when you're talking to a homeowner, is give them some kind of gift, right? Something that's going to help them. And keep in mind, if you're talking to her for sale by owner. So one of the things that we just created for our students is this seller's guide. And the seller's guide has tips on how to sell your own home, but the whole guide is really it's validating realtor, working with a real estate professional, right? So this guide is just incredible because you can use it for so many different things. You can use it outside of the listing appointment. You use it as a lead capture, use it as a door knocking thing, as a mailing thing, you put it in your email signature. But you may want to actually, before you actually get started on the listing appointment, say, Mr. Ms. Hana, I have this guy that my team, because I don't ever want you to lie. Don't say you wrote it, you didn't, but you can say my team. If you're a power agent, I'm on your team, all right? So my team put together this seller's success guide on selling a property. I just want to give this to you, something I wrote, something that my team wrote, and we put it together. So anyway, here's another thing you can do as an icebreaker is, Mr. Mizzano, one of the things is sometimes buyers, they see a sign, they ring the doorbell, or they call you and they're right in front of your house. They want to come see the house, and you may not be prepared. So I put together this little checklist on, the 10 quick ways to get ready for a showing in 10 minutes or less. And I just want to give this to you as a gift. Again, this is an icebreaker, maybe to give it the icebreaker is also, it does a couple of things. It shows the homeowner you care about them. It's a nice thing. And it also positions you as an expert, like, you know what you're doing. They say the quickest way to a man's heart is through their stomach. And the quickest way to a parent's heart is through children. And we're passionate about children. We have a children's charity, our company. So anything that can help children, it's like a side hobby thing for us. And so what we did is we created this, how to make a move easier for children, right? Because a move for children can be traumatic. And the thing is, they can't always articulate the trauma. It's taken away some security. So anyway, we put together this little thing to make it exciting, a game for children to help them, but it's also a great gift. It's a great icebreaker. I'm just giving you an example. Like for those of you that are not power agents, we did this for power agents, but you can find things online. You go to Amazon, find coloring books for kids. So there's things that you can find to create for yourself. Here's something I really love to do with the children. And that is to make the child a designated real estate agent. So I'm going to read this. I agree. So they're the clean house partner. I agree to help keep my room clean and my things picked up. I will cheerfully and helpfully so that our house will sell fast. I will earn tickets for doing these things and work towards a special prize. My parents will give me the tickets when I earn them. And then you put the child's name on it. This is a great idea because you can tell a homeowner, say, listen, when we talked on the phone, this is how you present it. Mr. Miss Hana, when we talked, I knew you had the children. You mentioned that you have a daughter. And so I give this to my clients, but I'm going to give this to you. And it's a way to make the whole process of selling the house engaging for the child so they can put their name on that. And then what you can do, here's how they earn the tickets. Like they pick up the toys, clothes, books. They make the bed in the morning. They turn the lights on when people are coming to see the house. They have clean up, dust a little bit, help mom and dad keep the house tidy. Then they can redeem the tickets for a treat, a Happy Meal, coloring book, movies. And then here, Mr. Min, I created the tickets for you. This is great. I love this. So you're going to have some homeowners say, you know what, even if I don't sell my house, I'm going to do this all the time with my kids. So it's a fun thing. It's a great icebreaker, and it makes a difference in the psychology of children who are going through this little bit of a struggle. Makes it fun for them. Anyway, here's how you would do the listing appointment. So gang, I'm going to show you how to put the listing conversation together. Okay, so there's sections. In the first section, you want to punch in stuff about you. Now, as I said, power agents, because you're getting the slide deck, this is where I was something in my previous, so there's your bio. So you can edit these slides, right? You put your photo in here. Okay, so let me go on concepts, right? So you have a section that talks about you. And the reason why that's important is because, gang, if they don't buy into you, they're not going to buy into anything that you have to say about getting their property sold. Okay, you'll notice when Julie introduced me at the beginning of the webinar, for people that aren't familiar with me, about me writing 3 books and having the CSP designation, how hard that is to get, the whole 9 yards. That is to add credibility so people will listen like, okay, I think this guy knows what he's talking about. You want the same thing with a homeowner. It's like, okay, this is a professional realtor. I should listen to them, right? So you may have your recent sales. Now, I know new people are going to be like, well, what if I don't have sales? Then don't do this slide. I'll show you how to compensate in a minute for the newer people. But for experienced people, you should talk about your success. You should also have some testimonials. Now, I'm going to give you an example. This is a testimonial from a power agent about the power program, but I want you to see how cool this is, because imagine right now that you are a homeowner and this is a testimonial from a buyer or from a seller saying how great you are. And it would go, this is how the experience would be.
Hey guys, Walter Florian, broker at Home Buyers Marketing out of Massac, New York. What I best like about the Power Agent program is the portal that's available. Whether you're working with a buyer or a seller, the information is amazing. You can customize flyers by adding your picture, your information, and your company logo. Some of the flyers, you can change the content. I would leave it alone. This information is amazing. It's helped me become a top agent, and I don't see why you can become a top agent too. I've sold over 90 homes in the last 24 months. Thank you, Darryl. And you're the best. Keep on smiling.
So anyway, so I want you to imagine if you had a buyer or a seller, and you had a couple of these, and you showed it to the homeowner, and they talked about maybe some of the struggles, and they hired you and how well you did with it. There's softwares out there that do that. This is the one that we use that actually keeps track of all of our testimonials. And what's really cool about it is that we can email a link to our power agents, and power agents can email a link, let's say, to their seller or buyer and say, hey, listen, click on the link, and then it'll tell them how to activate their camera and just record it right there at their desk. Power agents, I just want to recommend like that software and the other vendors that we screen for you. It's all in the vendors tab of the Power Program website for you guys. Okay, continuing on this section, when you're talking about you and your credibility, talk about some accomplishments that you've had. What I would do is in this section, I would scan or take photos of certificates that I have to make them digital and put them in the slides. I'm not going to teach you how to use PowerPoint, but you could post the actual image right there, okay? Now, the company section, so that's the section about you. The next section is going to be about your company. And the tip that's saying here is when you talk about your company, don't talk about the marketing tools that they have. Like, let's say they do television advertising or they spend money on online and how. No, it's not marketing company things. It's company credibility. So, for example, you'll talk about the broker owner, about some bullets about their history, how long they've been in real estate. If there's a leadership team, you'll talk about the leadership team, managers or executive, vice president, that kind of stuff. So add some credibility. If you have more than one office, then you'll explain the number of offices that you have in the cities and the bigness of it. You might even share this I would not share all the time. Like if you have a homeowner who says they're thinking of talking to, BS Realty, that's an acronym for Bob Smith. And so they're planning and talking to him. If you are going on listing appointments and you keep going head to head with a company like that, then maybe find some strengths and weaknesses of your company, the strengths of your company, the weakness of the other, and do a comparison, whether it's days on market or whatever. The other thing that you can do is actually make a list of where your company is number one in something compared to all the companies in the area or the top 20 companies in the area. Usually every company is number one in something at a certain period of time. So, your company may be not the top number one company in the market this year, but they might have been the last 30 days in number of listings or number of sales or the list price to sales price ratio. You can usually go to your numbers and find where you're a leader somewhere and put that and promote that. And then going back to the newer agents where you don't have a lot of that history in listings sold and etc., focus more on the company aspect, right? So you might just have one page that talks a little bit about yourself and then you go heavy into your company. You also at this point want to talk about how the market is going. You want to give an overview. And my recommendation when you talk about the company is use news articles or online stuff of companies that are recognizable. So for example, if you were to go to Google and type in real estate market USA, and you'll find stuff. So right there is CNBC. You know, everybody recognizes CNBC or Bloomberg or Housing Wire. So use credible sources. And when you click on there, I just love this article because it talks about how 3D virtual tours is being such a valuable tool. Again, this is something that we have, the homeowner, the FSBO doesn't have. So I really love that article. Power agents, as you know, there's a Facebook closed group just for power agents. And periodically I research this, these news articles that I think might be useful for you. And I'll share it in the Facebook group for you to make it easy so you don't always have to search it. This, you see New York Times, like, okay, I recognize New York Times. I'm interested. It adds credibility to what you're trying to explain to a homeowner. Talk about the company neighborhood sales. But not just the company, the overall MLS, because right now you're educating the homeowner. Let me escape on this. I want you all to see this so you understand what I'm saying. See, that's the other thing. I created in this PowerPoint where I put the sections, like this is the company section, this is the market update stuff. So here you're updating the homeowner on what's happening in their town, in their market. So it's not just the neighborhood sales, but the current listed houses, what's currently on the market that they're going to compete with. And then the next section is going to be the partnership program. I'm going to explain that now. When you're talking to a homeowner, you're going to have basically, I put together 3 types of conversations. There's the conversation where, let's say somebody is on the fence about selling. They want to wait. They have concerns because maybe the coronavirus or because of the market or because of the holidays. Then you have the for sale by owners that, you know what, they're looking to do this on their own. That's a different type of conversation. And then the third is your traditional marketing conversation about MLS, yard sign, lockbox. So let me go through these. I'm going to do the first one, which is where there's a concern. They want to wait for some reason, right? You might explain to the homeowner, listen, Mr. Misano, when it comes to selling a house, I look at it as, I actually call it the partnership preparation program, and with the highlighting the word preparation. See, when it comes to selling a house, there's a lot that goes into it. And what I like to do, if you're looking to wait till after the holidays or after the election settles down, it's still a good idea for us to start working together now because we can get ahead of the competition. Let me explain here. There is a whole process in selling a house from start to finish. This is just an illustration to visually show you all that goes into getting a house sold. But at the top of the board, at the beginning of the board, we have to determine value, we have to prepare, we have to stage, we have to, then we launch the listing. So if you're telling me you want to wait, we can actually use the time now to our advantage. For example, once you hire me, I got to go into prepare and copy. I've got to write all of the stuff for the MLS, for the remarks section, for the ads. So there's a lot of work that goes into preparing copy. And there's do's and don'ts when you're preparing copy. You see, writing the ads. Like, you know, words that sell that work really good are beautiful, landscape, moving condition. Words that are bad is using words like motivated or clean or quiet. So there's an actual science in using the right words that help highlight your house in its best way. I've also got to prepare photos. See, it's not just taking photos. There's an art to taking photos. This is why I get the big bucks. See, for example, this is a house. If you look at this house, I mean, it's a very clean room. You know, it's obviously for the children, but this can be very distracting for a buyer. So one of the technologies that we have in my company is I can take a room like this and actually refurnish it. I can get rid of the children's stuff and put in virtual bed and other stuff. Now people can see it totally different. Here's another example. Nice kitchen, you know, nothing too bad about it, but you'll notice that there's a pot on the stove and there's some paperwork that's there. I can digitally actually remove things that would be a distraction, but this takes some time. Let me show you another one. This is obviously a vacant house, but what we're able to do is actually not just put the furniture, but actually if you look out to the backyard, we actually even added a grill that didn't exist there before. So it creates a kind of virtual feeling, or not virtual, but an actual presentation of what could be possible for people. And then there's little things that we can touch up, like, I'm personally not a professional photographer. I hire somebody, but sometimes the photos, like if you look at this, it is what it is, right? You've got the grass needs some watering a little bit, and it's a little bit of a cloudy day, but we can actually enhance the photos by cleaning up the grass, putting the clouds in there. This is what I can do before we actually launch your listing. What I can use your help with is preparing for the day of the shoot. So if you decide to hire me now, I'll go over this with you, but this is what we need to do to prepare your house before we launch it. I also got to get a mailing list. This takes time to actually research who are the best people to mail to. And then I got to download that mailing, put it into our system to get ready to promote your house. This is all of the steps in getting your house sold for the highest possible price. I got to prepare social media marketing. Social media is such a powerful tool that we use right now. Studies have shown that buyers, at least 55%, say they found their home through the internet. So therefore, this is why my company, we are plugged into all of the different online social media and internet sites to help market our homeowners' houses. But let me just show you something when it comes to social media. If you want to do any kind of marketing on Facebook, there's a whole set of rules and regs to do Facebook. But wait, there's more, because you have Instagram has their own set of rules. And then after Instagram, you have LinkedIn that has their own set of rules. And then Twitter has their whole set of rules. I'm just going to show you, looking at the photos, every photo has to have a different dimension and pixels based on that platform. So I don't just take one photo and put it out there. I have to actually customize the photos for each one of these social media platforms. Now, gang, I just want to share something with you about what I just did. If I'm talking to a homeowner also who's a for sale by owner, what did I just do? I just showed the homeowner something that they didn't know that I knew, and that positions me what? As the expert. And if you do this, what should happen, the homeowner should say, geez, I didn't know Facebook and LinkedIn, and they have all their different rules and regs, and they have their different criteria for digital photos. The next question is for that homeowner is, what else don't you know? Like, you don't even know what you don't know. And this is part of what you do in that listing appointment. All right, let's continue on. You'll tell the homeowner that's on the fence, listen, I got to prepare a property website for you. I've got to do the virtual tours. That's going to take time to put that together for you. And I would right now actually show samples of virtual tours. I got to prepare the print promotion. One of the things I like to do, Mr. and Mrs. Hunter, on my business card, I like to put your photo and your description of your house, a little blurb on the back of my business card. I'll give you a set so that way you can mail it out or give it out to friends and family. But I got to take time to create that, plus the door hangers and the postcards, all of this. And then the digital target marketing is a whole other set of things that I have to do. So Mr. and Mrs. Hunter, here's my point. If now is the time to hire me, because this time I can use while we're getting ready to sell. If you want to sell after the holidays, over these next few weeks, I can start to prepare your property to sell. By the way, agents, Empower agents, I'm going to do a webinar for you guys coming up in the next few weeks on the top 10 reasons why a homeowner shouldn't wait and they should put their house on the market during the holidays. So that's something else. But anyway, so that's the I want to wait person. You're basically telling them, listen, don't wait. Hire me now because it's going to take me weeks to get ready to put your house on the market. That's how you could present that. For the for sale by owner, you want to tell the homeowner, listen, when it comes to selling your house, we're going to work together. You know, you're a smart person. And if I were to ask you to connect these 9 dots, you know, you may say, all right, I'll try and connect all the 9 dots, but you missed that 1 dot because you're trying to stay within a box. You can't stay in the box. In order to connect the 9 dots, you got to actually go outside of the box. Mr. and Mrs. Fizbo, my job as your agent is to look outside of what you know, and together we can get your property sold. You know, sometimes when you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. And so you should hire. Here's why you need to hire a realtor, Mr. Mizana, is if you would think about it, if you were sick, you probably would call a doctor, or if you were going to get sued, you probably would call an attorney. And of course, when it comes time to doing your taxes, you hire an accountant. Well, why would you do anything different with your most important asset? In every one of those areas, you have a professional that you rely on. And as a for sale by owner, you shouldn't be a physical. You should actually hire a professional in this regard. This is one of your most important assets. Now, gang, I love sharing this because this is powerful stuff. This is forsalebyowner.com. This guy, if you go to the website, you're going to see this. And the forsalebyowner.com, it says, why would you hire an agent? Listen, what you see that little slider there on the screen? It shows, listen, you can save $105,000 in commission. If you sold your house for $2.1 million, if you paid an agent, you're going to want to pay $100,000. Why would you pay $100,000? Forget about paying $100,000. You look what you can do with $100,000. You can do a college fund, house money. Look at it, right? This is forsalebyowner.com. But watch this. When the owner of forsalebyowner.com wanted to sell his house, if you look at this article, it was in the Wall Street Journal. Not only did he not sell it on his own, but he hired a real estate agent and he sold it quickly for $2.15 million, and he paid $150,000 commission. So the guy, watch this, I'm going to go back. The guy that's saying you shouldn't be a FSBO, you should hire my company and save all that money. He wouldn't even sell his own property on his platform. He hired an agent. Come on, this is beautiful. I love that slide. Here's another one, the buy owner. The buy owner one. See, I told you, I love working FSBOs because we got to help them. They're making a bad decision. They're going to lose money. Here, buyowner.com, same thing. This guy, buyowner.com. Don't list with an agent. Listen, you know what? If you look at the screen, you know what's funny? The buy owner guy, he's telling you don't hire a realtor, but look what his second logo at the top is, realtor.com. Tell me that's not an oxymoron. Huh? But watch this. When he was selling his house in St. Petersburg Beach down in Florida, he hired a realtor, and he was selling $3.7 million, and he hired the CEO. So here's two companies that are telling you don't hire an agent, but meanwhile they are. There must be something to this. All right, but watch this. NAR did a study, and they found that the average sales price for a FSBO versus the average sales price for a realtor was a 32.5% difference, meaning, I'm just going to make this up. If you charge a FSBO 10% in this example, they would still net 22% more in their pocket. Yeah, let me, but this one I love. USA Today, Mr. and Mrs. Hana, they even showed. Now, I'm going to zoom in on this graph. They did this study, and here's what they found. The average sales price for FSBO was $137.4 when they ran the study. For the realtor was $175. That means realtors, according to the USA Today study, sell for 21.49% higher. What does that tell you? It means I work for free. That by you hiring me and paying a commission, I will actually, after you pay my commission, you will net more money in your pocket. Why is that? I love doing this analogy, gang. Is, when you look at a Broadway show, you got all these people involved in putting that show together. You've got the lighting design, set design, costume, makeup. They all talk to one person. Who is it? The director. The director's the glue that keeps the show together. In a real estate transaction, you got the same thing. You got you and you got the buyers, and then you got the appraiser, and you have the engineer, and you might have an attorney. That's why you don't want to work with an agent. Let's say the buyers, they got an attorney. Then you got the title company, the home inspector, the bank rep. You know what's interesting? You got all these people not talking to one another. You as the seller, you only talk to the buyers and to your attorney, but you can't talk to the buyer's attorney. You don't talk to the home inspector. You don't talk to the bank rep. Your attorney that's going to do this for you, they only talk to the other attorney to you. They don't talk to the bank rep or the home inspector or the engineer, the appraiser. They got all these people. They're not talking to each other. There's only one person everybody talks to, the real estate transaction. And that's me, the real estate professional. Selling a house without an agent is like trying to put a show together without a director. It's going to bomb. There must be more behind the curtains that you're not aware of. This is why we're so valuable. This is why most homeowners actually, they try for sale by owner, but they ultimately wind up working with an agent. Think about it too. We have different buyers. If you were going to buy a couch, you might go to Ethan Allen. You're going to spend top dollar. Why would anybody buy a couch on eBay? Here's why. The eBay buyers are looking to save money. They're looking for a good deal. Mr. and Mrs. Hanahan, any buyer that's going to walk into my company to buy a house, they know they're paying top dollar. Why? Because as a real estate agent, I have a commission built into the price of the house, and the buyers know this. But buyers, they're looking to buy a good house from a company they can trust. In other words, I attract the Ethan Allen buyers of real estate. The ones that you get from your FSBO ads are the eBay buyers. They're looking to save money. They're looking for a deal. Anyway, gang, I'm not going to go through all of these because this is what that other training is that I have for you. But here's the point that I want you to understand in this section here is what you want to do is go through each one of these slides using analogies, explaining to a homeowner why they are not saving money, why they need to hire a professional. Now, when it comes to your marketing plan, let me just touch upon a few of these, and I want to make sure we have time for questions too. So going to this part here, and I just want to be clear with you, gang, that the video that I told you at the beginning goes through this right here in the bottom right. I spent an hour and a half going through the whole slide by slide, how to deliver each one of the metaphors and analogies like I'm doing now. So now I'm just giving you an overview of the concept of the listing appointment. So let me recap. You want to break the ice when you're doing a listing appointment. Then you want to talk about you and have some testimonials, some of your background. Then you want to talk about the bigness and effectiveness of the company as a whole. Then you want to talk about your marketing, but you want to customize it. If you have somebody who's not ready to pull the trigger because they're worried about the election, what the results are, the coronavirus, the holidays, you want to motivate them, say, no, listen, this is good time for me to start to get ready for us to work together by the photos and the digital and the advertising and the writing and and the virtual tours. Then if you're talking to a FSBO, you want to validate. The whole point of working the FSBO section is you don't sell you sell realtor. That this is why, or real estate professional if you're not a realtor, this is why they need to not do it on their own, and that you're validating the power of working with a real estate agent. Now, if it makes sense to them, then you talk about, well, let me share with you how I work. I have what's called the Seller Success System, which, by the way, gang, I love alliteration, SSS, Seller Success System. It's designed to help you sell your house at the highest price in today's crazy new reality we're living in. When it comes time to pricing or selling a house for the highest possible price, there's certain things that impact the price. There's the individual taste of the buyer. We can't control that. There is the financing that's out there for buyers. Right now, it is awesome. Low interest rate. We can't control that, but right now it's really awesome for buyers. There is the appearance of the quality of the house, of the product. That's where you come in, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. You have control over that. You also have control over the price that you want to put it on the market. And then there's the ease on how accessible the house is, which is part of my job. And then lastly is the market and promotion. That's really where I shine. These are the 6 things that influence not just selling a house, but anything. And this is why this is important. To get the highest possible price, you want as many buyers wanting that item as possible. And how do you get the most buyers wanting it is through exposure. And how you do that is marketing tools. Let me share with you the marketing tools that we have. See, our marketing tools like fishing. If you're thinking about finding a buyer, is like fishing. See, a FSBO, when they're fishing for a buyer, it's like going out to a lake with a fishing pole. And every ad that they do or every yard sign, that's a fishing pole. Something on the internet, that's a fishing pole. My company, we don't use fishing poles. We use a trawler with a fishing net. Imagine that. This is why we're so successful. What we do is because we have more marketing tools. It's a bigger net. It brings more buyers on board. You know, our MLS and our association, we're like the Amazon of real estate. When people think about buying a house, when you think about buying something, you usually go to Amazon. People think about buying a house, they go to realtors. See, that's who we are. And so anyway, you want to use, because I got to get ready for questions here, Julie. Where am I? Okay. Here's the thing I want to cover with you right now, because again, this is giving you the overview. When you talk about, here's the main thing I also want you guys to understand. If you're looking at the slides right now, you see where it says broker's open house? And I'm going to skip to yard sign and public open house. What you want to do is use metaphors and analogies explaining each one of the marketing tools that you'll do. You'll notice I've been doing them now. What were some of the metaphors I did? The directors about the Broadway show or live show. I did the Amazon one. I did the eBay one. I didn't get into the Kelly Blue because there's a whole bunch of them. So you want the fishing pole. You want to use metaphors and analogies in listing. That's the real secret to doing a listing appointment without memorized scripts. So what happens, what you want to do is each one of these, like for Broker's Open House, you want to explain Broker's Open House using a metaphor. For example, the one that I like to use is a fashion show. Mr. and Ms. Hunt, because especially me from New York. Like when you launch a house, a Broker's Open House like a fashion show. When a fashion show designer launches a new set of clothes, what do? They promote a fashion show, and all the buyers from the stores come to the fashion show to look at the line. And if they like something, they bring that product back to their business, to their store for their buyers. To me, that's what a Broker's Open House is, except you're the only featured product. The other agents come to the Broker's Open House. If they like it, they bring this house, your house, back to their office to promote it to their buyers. This is why the Broker's Open House is so crucial. Anyway, everyone that you do, when you talk about the opinion sheet, you use a survey from a movie premiere or whatever analogy you want. Yard sign, you have to use an analogy like I use 7-Eleven, public open house, using HDTV. Anyway, again, gang, metaphors and analogies. Okay, now let me go back to this slide set here. So here's the summary. To summarize is this. You want to get some software for PowerPoint. And I have a gift for everybody, so hang on because there's so much to cover here. So to summarize what we've said is you want to have a PowerPoint or some kind of software to deliver your visual conversation. Make sure you're kind of strong on the virtual tours. I think that's really valuable in this new real estate reality we're living in, and it's also a great listing tool. Put together your slides. Those of you who are power agents, take my slide deck and start to customize it. And of course, you guys should become a power agent, the non-power agents, because of the gift that we have for you guys. And I want to tell you what that is. So I want to talk to the guests on the webinar for a minute, and then I'm going to open up to questions. So everybody stay with me. And the questions can be not just about the power program, but about listing and what we've covered in the topic today. Guests on the call, we have a great thing for you. If you want to become a power agent today, you can do it for $5. And I don't know if Sarah has that thing for these power agents. And there's the complete access to the entire site. There is bonuses today. I want to show you the bonuses in a second, and you can cancel anytime. Let me just share with you guys what the power program is for the guests. Every Monday, there's a call that's live. You see, this I can't talk to you in a minute. We'll open up to questions. But the Monday calls, you can actually talk to me with other power agents and ask me questions, and I'll coach you. So that's every Monday. Our power agents tell us they love the Monday coaching calls because it sets the tone for the week. And some of the power agents, they actually have my cell number. I text them to motivate them a little bit. There's these webinars on demand that we're doing on a regular basis. There is a closed Facebook group that is incredible with the brainstorming and the networking and the helping one another. And it's not like some of those other groups. This one is closed just for power agents. It's not open to non-power agents. There's the website, which when you click on Classroom, when you go to the Power Program website and you click on Classroom, there are all these areas for you to improve. So if you need help, let's say, for example, on farming and self-promotion, like you're looking for something to help you with that, when you click on it, there's literally the whole website has over 400 forms, flyers, checklists, dialogues, and you can customize them all. Do you see that one at the top on the screen? I just realized it's there. The 10 reasons to sell before the year ends. That's a powerful. You can customize. You put your contact information. I'm going to do a webinar on that coming up. And let's say because there's so many forms and flyers for you that you want to narrow it down to your favorites. You put a little star there. Then you go into your favorite folders and it's all saved for you. There's also a great search feature where you can actually type in, let's say you type in FSBO, it searches the whole site for all the FSBO content, whether it's the dialogue or there's a video or there's PowerPoint or there's other flyers and checklists that you can use. Here's the gift that we have for everybody, the non-power agents. And this is just for $5. Watch this. This is awesome. First of all, you're going to get that PowerPoint slide that I was just demonstrating, you're going to get the PowerPoint slides so you can customize. You're going to get our training where I go through every single slide, every single analogy. It's an hour. It's over an hour and a half, about an hour and a half video. There's also an e-guide on how to deal with multiple offers. Now, this is not for you. Watch this. This e-guide, you would give it to a buyer that you're working with, or you give it to your seller, explaining in this crazy market how to deal with multiple offers. You put your contact information on there, but you're going to give this to your clients. It's really quite awesome. It helps deal with the craziness. If you're a new agent, we have an e-guide for new agents, what they should do to launch their business. The top 12 dialogues for calling FSBOs, expireds, houses for rent, orphans, which explains what that is. There is how to set up a Facebook page. Plus, there is a copy of today's slides. There is access to a CRM if you don't have one. We have one for power agents, and you can try it for 30 days. There is the Box Brownie, those photos. You can touch it up. You get that for free for 4 photos. And there's a prospecting system called RedX, which that you get for 30 days. Anyway, every bonus, if you add it all up, that's what it goes for on our website. But you get to use it or get it for $5. And here's the best thing. By you signing up and you get all these bonuses, you get to keep it. So if, let's say, you decide to cancel within that 30 days, then everything on the screen is a gift. You get to keep it. After that, it's only $47 a month if you decide to continue, and that's it. So you just click on that. And questions, Julie, what time is it? Okay, good. We just made it. So I'm going to stay now and answer questions, whether they are about the Power Program or if it's about what we taught today. And by the way, if you're a power agent, we love to hear comments from power agents too about what you think about the program, what do you like best about it. We read these. It helps us to do a better job for you. Okay, Julie, what do we got? Any questions?
I love it. Denise just said, Darryl delivers on everything he promotes. I've been a power agent for a week and I'm already a better agent. I love the guidance and resources. Thank you.
Oh, who said that?
Denise Taylor.
Denise, thank you. That's awesome, Denise.
All right.
You have my cell number, Denise. There's a lot as a new power agent. I'm going to say something. So wait a second for Denise and any new power agent. I want to show you something that's important. You'll see this little bubble over here on our website. So I'm on the actual Power Program website right now, and I'm logged in as my assistant, Sarah. This is the dashboard. This is the portal that brings you everywhere. But you're going to see in the bottom right-hand corner this little chat thing. I have an incredible team. They're there to support you. It's live. So during regular business hours, there's somebody who will answer you and help you. So if you have any questions, and if you're a new power agent and you don't have my cell number that we're giving out, just ask my team and they'll give it to you, okay? Sarah, make sure that they are a power agent before you give my cell. All right, so Julie, what's the questions?
Sarah, maybe we can put that at the top of the Facebook group as well. All right, so for those using the Box Brownie, do you think that's deceitful, or how would you set that up if you're enhancing the photos?
Great question. Oh, I'm so glad whoever asked that question. I love your integrity to ask the question. You should have integrity with those photos. So you should put some kind of disclaimer either in the subject or actually on the photo itself that's saying this is a touched up photo. So you should have integrity absolutely with that. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. You should just disclaim it. Okay. And by the way, there's another extra tip. I encourage power agents to also label the photos as to what room they are in. Because when Realtor picks it up, Realtor.com and Zillow picks it up and when people are flipping through photos, they can get confused. Like, is this bedroom on the upstairs, downstairs? Is this the same bedroom or same room at a different angle? It can be overwhelming. You should put a little label of what the room is on every one of your photos. I'm telling you, it is an incredible, awesome thing to do. Next question, Julie.
Darryl, is there any way you can go to the tech tools and training part of the site? Because that is where a lot of people have been asking, if I'm not familiar with PowerPoint. So we actually go through all of those in the tech.
Let me explain it, Jules. So you got a classroom, right? When you go to classroom, and this is where all the magic is, right? So these are all the topics. So if you need, I'm going to answer your question, but while I'm here, give me a second. Remember I said about tagging for favorites? because when you go to farming and self-promotion, and I'm going to answer this question about PowerPoint, but just stick with me. This is just that one tab. All of these are forms and flyers and checklists, and all of them can be customized. There is a series of letters. I told you, gang, there's newsletters. There's over 400 forms for you guys to use in your business. Now, because that could be overwhelming, what we did is we added this feature where when you click on something and it goes into a favorite folder, these are items that I've favorited before, and there's where they are. So that makes it less overwhelming for people. Okay, now Julie wanted me to show you the one tab that says Tech Tools and Training. Everything is alphabetical, so if you're thinking I need help with prospecting, go to the P's. There's a P, prospecting. And but let's go to Tech Tools. So for those of you that are not familiar and you need some help, let's say on using Zoom, we did a training for that's not the video. Here's the tech videos. There is a training on how to use the Power Builder CRM. There is the Zoom training. There's the PowerPoint training. There's the what else? The lead capture, how to do some stuff. Anyway, there's Box Brownie. What's that doing?
I said Box Brownie, which is really neat because there's some great ideas in that Box Brownie one, really talking about how to not just enhance, but really, showcasing properties that are really fixer-uppers and what's potential for it. So really neat stuff in there. So
yeah.
And your coupons, so we have a question about Red X. What is Red X prospecting? Your coupon for Red X is found in this section as well. So
yeah, so the Red X coupon is there. And somebody asked, what is Red X prospecting D? Right. Yeah, so what Red X is a platform where they find FSBOs and expireds for you, put it into a dashboard for you. It's an outside company, but we push the heck out of them because they give you on a silver platter the FSBOs, expireds. They reverse the phone number. They get it for you. They get the address, all that stuff. And then all you have to do is make your calls. And because I'm a big FSBO expert, literally, I negotiated the best deal in the industry for our power agents where you can get everything that they have to offer. There's no setup fee. That's waived. That saves you $150, blah, 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 and you can kick the tires for 30 days. And so that's what that is. Next question, Julie.
Wonderful. I signed up last week. Will I get everything that you talked about today?
Yes, everything. So for new power agents that are on the call, if you're going to get a copy of the slides, right? But here's, if you go back to the tech training, the video listing, this video goes through the actual listing appointment, which I touched upon today, these slides. It will teach each one of those. Listen, any new power agent, I want that's because you're new. There is so much that we give you guys. It can be, like I said, a little overwhelming. If you just go to that little bubble in the bottom right, my team will take good care of you. Do not worry. You're not going to learn and know everything that we have for you in your first day or 2 days. That's why a lot of companies, they give you 2-week trials or 7-day trial. We give you 30 days because we want to help you get acclimated and understand it all. Next question, Julie.
Yes, Mark has a mailing going out now with sold properties on it, offering a free over-the-phone market analysis. I have a pop art guy on the phone next to it. Do you think that's okay? Or do you think it's fun or unprofessional? Or no?
So it's a cartoon that he has?
I think that's what he means.
And is he a power agent? Mark, I have a mailing going out.
I'm not
Mark,
sure.
Listen, if you're a power agent, Mark, what I want you to do, because it sounds like you might be, if you're doing the over-the-phone market analysis, because that's what I teach power agents. So I'm assuming you're a power agent. If you're a power agent, I want you to post that in the Facebook closed group, and then I'll be able to see it, and then I'll comment and tell you what I think, and I'll even bring it up on the Monday coaching call if you want. If you're not a power agent, I can't answer your question because I'd have to see it. It's a visual question that you're asking me, so I'd have to see whether it's professional or not. Next question, Julie.
What time are the coaching calls on Mondays?
The coaching calls, by the way, just so I can explain why I'm where I am right now, and then I'll answer that question. I clicked on prospecting, and when you click on prospecting, if you remember, gang, where I showed you the USA Today article and the Colby Sambrato article about the byowner.com. They're all in the prospecting. But also, you're going to find the dialogue for calling expireds, calling FSBOs, the voicemail. There's a whole set of dialogue for calling the prospect. The prospecting chapter is tremendous with so much great stuff in there for you. And all right, let me go back to my slide. And to answer that question, Julie, when are the calls? The calls are 11 o'clock on Monday from 12 o'clock. But we always go past 12. But that's how, so we do a minimum of 11 to 12. Okay. And that's Eastern time, New York time. And by the way, if you can't be on the call, let me jump back to the website. If you go to Classroom, always Classroom, that's where the magic is. Always, always, always. You will find here the coaching calls. When you click on the coaching calls, that's the Monday calls each week. This is where you can actually ask me a question. You can click on this button, have a question on the call, click here, and then it'll launch the email. But then we record the calls so you can listen to them later. So there's a lot of dialogue that we give, brainstorming. So anyway, you'll see that, I don't know if you can tell, this says an hour and 40 minutes, and this was an hour and 33 minutes. This one was almost 2 hours. Because the power agents, they, I'll stay as long as they need me to and ask questions. So, all right, next question, Julie.
Yes, the calendars that you showed early on, where would I find that in the site? The weekly calendars.
Julie, because we just started that, where are those?
Time and money management.
Time and money management. So this is a time and money management concept, right? So the weekly calendars are going to be where, again, things are alphabetical. So to help you find it, if let's say you couldn't find it, if you typed in calendar, and I can never spell calendar. Did I spell it right, Julie? Calendar?
Yeah.
Okay. And if I hit enter, it searches the whole website for calendar. Okay. So there's calendars. Okay?
We actually email that out to agents every Monday. We've got a tool, the calendar, and the coaching call information goes out every Monday in an email.
Cool.
Wonderful. I think that's...
Is there any other questions?
I think that's it.
Okay. So, well, great. Well, thank you, everybody. And, last thing I'm going to say for people that are on this call is that, some craziness has happened last night during this election time, and wherever you are in that, where emotionally and mentally, dig in on your business right now. Stay focused on what you need to do to help serve other people. The best way to deal with any stress that you might have about anything is to take the focus off of you and put it on something outside of you, which in this case would be your buyers and sellers, getting new business, your family. So get out of your head, dig in on what you have to do for your life, for your business, and work harder at that. And I love this expression, motion impacts emotion. So get emotion. All right. Everybody, thanks for being on the call. Stay safe, stay focused, and don't forget to keep smiling. By the way, become a power agent, because we don't know how long we're going to keep this price locked in. So lock it in now for yourself. Okay. All right, gang. Bye-bye, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.